So today we're going to be reading Your Devotion Slashers Ex-Listener Up in Here, Book 2. We are currently in chapter 42, but we're going to go back a chapter for the purpose of the recap. So basically, long story short, Mikael and Jason got into a fight. And while they were in the middle of the fight, we got in between them. We almost got hit and almost killed. But, Pennywise got in the middle before they could strike us by accident and stop them from fighting, and told them, like, what the hell are you, like, and then, like, you know, grouching at them, and then they come to us and complain, and they're like, why would you do that? Are you dumb? Like, and then we're like, it's because I love him. You know, Romeo and Juliet type of stuff. And then Penny was like, you crazy motherfucker. You is crazy. And then basically, I guess he was listening to we were just spying on us from a distance and hearing us and not just physically being there because he wanted us to feel guilty or something like that. Didn't work really. But basically, he agreed with Mikael earlier when he said that we should go home. We seem tired, etc., etc. And as Pennywise was saying that, Jason got upset because he doesn't want us to leave. And then he tried to, and then he Pennywise argued back to Jason. We tried to get like whoa, relax. And then Jason kept going about not wanting us to leave. And then Pennywise started assaulting him. And then Jason got more mad. And then we got pissed and yelled at them. And basically told them we the boss. I guess I go where the hell I want to, etc. And then eventually Jason's like, you just came here just to leave? And then we get all sympathetic and be like, no. And then, well, not exactly. And then we explain our reasoning. And then telling him all types of nice things that were true. And he was really happy. But then again, after we kept talking to him about how we have to leave, he got a little jealous. But then we promised him to visit him on a certain day, I believe, and whatnot. And eventually we said our goodbyes, and everyone was like, oh my gosh, finally. And then Jason was like, promise, like, you know, like, you better protect her, etc., etc. And then Mika was like, you have her word, now back off. I'm like, oh my goodness, these are such assholes. Mika just being fucking aggressive when he doesn't need to be. And then as soon as we left, and Pennywise was like, how did you get him to calm down so fast? And then we're like, because we showed him a little bit of kindness. And then Penny was like, I can't get a read on you. Just being frustrated like usual. And then they just talking, and eventually they reached home. With Norman, as soon as she arrived at the door, boom, the door busted open, and he just got all over her, like hugs and stuff. And eventually going all the way down as they talked, and saying how much he was worried, missed you, etc. Then we have somebody saying, I have to admit, you weren't the only one. So we gotta find out who said that, and I'm pretty sure half of everyone knows who said that if they've been following the series. But now he is officially in chapter 42, Demonic Devotion. Hannibal, you were worried too? You ask in bemusement, surprise shooting across your face as you became perplexed by the psychiatrist's words. I don't understand. All I did was go visit Jason in Camp Crystal Lake, and he would never hurt me. Nonetheless, we can't be sure of that. Hannibal gently interjected, holding your waist with both hands and twirling you around to face him before leaning his forehead lightly against yours. He's emotionally unstable. Not to mention he's shown to behave like a child most of the time. But he's never hurt me before, you retaliated stubbornly, not understanding where all this backlash towards Jason was bubbling from. Really, the only thing he did earlier was twirl me around and give me a hug. I, personally, don't find that to be emotionally unstable. Besides, if you want to blame anyone for trying to attack YN, I'd say blame her. Pennywise sarcastically drawled, rolling his golden eyes and shaking his head. Oh, and what would I want to blame her for? Hannibal inquired curiously, shifting his attention towards Pennywise instead. For wanting to play heroine? Pennywise scoffed with slight resentment, still sounding annoyed by your previous actions. He's irritated because I stood in front of Jason. You sighed in exasperation, moving back so you can converse with all 4 slashers and explain. I didn't want Michael to attack him, so I tried to prevent the fight from happening in the first place. That's all. Anyways, Pennywise saved me, so why would you even try something like that? That's what I was saying. Norman worriedly cried, hugging you from the side and snuggling into your shoulder. That's just so dangerous. But I was just... Norman's right, YN. That sounds extremely hazardous. Hannibal criticized seriously. The psychiatrist clearly not pleased by your behavior as he shot you a very stern stare. Mikael and Jason are both ridiculously violent. You could have gotten severely hurt back there, had, I'm assuming, Pennywise not intercepted. I agree. You shouldn't have stood in the front of Voorhees like that. My attack could have really hurt you. Mikael swiftly wrote, passing you his notepad a second later and gazing at you with an icy expression. But it didn't. You protested feebly, handing the stalker's response back to him before heading into the slasher's house with a sheepish look. I'm fine, really. All I need is some food and then some sleep. At least let me cook for you, Norman desperately begged, following you from behind and clutching one of your arms with both of his. Please, you must be exhausted. I am only a little tired, you timidly admitted, mulling it over in your thoughts and realizing that he wasn't entirely wrong. But fine. I mean, if it wouldn't cause you too much trouble or anything, my dear sweet YN, you could never bother us, nor cause any type of trouble. Beg to differ. Hannibal spoke smoothly, his charming tone and gentlemanlike personality throwing you off completely. So please don't think that way. All right then. Stammering faintly, you struggled to keep your composure. A heavy pink now dusting your cheeks whilst you replied to the psychiatrist. Then after that, you took a seat at the dinner table, Mikael standing protectively behind you and Pennywise taking a seat next to you, just like last time. And once Norman had made you some food, you accepted said dish while thanking him gratefully. The dark-haired male sitting on your other side as Hannibal finished creating his meal sat opposite you. Surprisingly, this evening was strangely peaceful. No fights, no arguments, striking up between anyone, and nobody losing their temper over anything. It was certainly unexpected. That was for sure. Or perhaps that was just because Freddy wasn't around to provoke the others. Enjoying the food that Norman had made, you ate everything he'd cooked before standing up, moving over to the kitchen counter and deciding to casually clean your plate. But all of a sudden, mi bel I can't say these words. Il mio bel fiero? I probably said that so wrong. But I'm pretty sure that involves flour in the meaning. Flour. Yes, flour. Yeah. I mean, I would have looked that up, but I'm pretty sure that's flour. You know, it never hurts to find out. To Google! Yeah, see, I told you it mentions flour, y'all. Let's see how it sounds. Hold on, okay, it is. Lower it a little.
Oh, il mio bel fiore.
Okay, it's like, oh, il mio bel fiore.
Oh, il mio bel fiore.
Fiore. It's like, oh, il mio bel fiore. I said that. Don't judge me because I don't speak Italian. But it says, oh, my beautiful flower. See, I told y'all I mentioned flower. Anyways, we're back at the story magically. Yay. But yeah, my beautiful flower. So let's try it. Oh, il mio bel fiore. You certainly don't have to concern yourself with doing that, Hannibal sweetly remarked, wrapping both of his arms around your waist from behind and causing you to blush harder. Besides, didn't you say you wanted to rest once you'd finished eating? Well, yes, but I think it's just I thought cleaning it up after myself was merely the polite thing to. I'll do your dishes for you, YN. And Norman volunteered lovingly, clapping his hands together and becoming extremely excited. Who knew someone could grow so excited about doing another person's dishes? You really don't have to. You shyly trailed off, spinning around to face them both with enormous embarrassment. I'd love to, Norman carried on with complete and utter adoration, his eyes sparkling with uncontrollable endearment while he took your plate and cutlery away from you. It would be my honor. Oh, well, I'm flattered, you gently responded, resting both of your hands on top of his shoulders before giving them a soft squeeze and pressing your lips lightly against his own. Thank you, Norman. No problem. Norman stuttered in shock, his eyes suddenly widening due to him not expecting you to squeeze his shoulders and give him a smoochy wooshy out of the blue. I'll be going to bed now, you delicately announced, flashing Hannibal, Miguel, and Pennywise a friendly smile, whilst you raised your hand as a wave and tried to treat them all with the same level of respect. Night, YN, the dark-haired male exclaimed happily, now looking tremendously pleased from your unforsaken kiss. I'll sleep with you soon, okay? Of course. Okay. Good night. After smiling in amusement, you blew him an air kiss before finally heading upstairs, your heart melting by how cute Norman had acted. You better rethink what you just said, sweet cheeks, because this certainly won't be such a good night for you. A vicious voice taunted from directly in front of you, their tone sounding half malicious and half mocking. Oh, and why is that? You asked with raised eyebrows, not showing any sort of fear or fright towards Freddy as you brushed directly past him and entered straight into your bedroom. Well, now, let's see. Grinning darkly, the dark demon dragged his knives sharply down one side of your doorframe and gripped your right wrist with his left hand, yanking you relatively closer to him. First off, you did come right back after your pathetic little psychology class. Instead, you went to go and visit that stupid Voorhees down at the lake. Then, you almost got yourself killed by that freaking Myers, and now you're asking me, why is that? Yeah, I guess I am. You fiercely fought back, eyeing him with a festy glare. Honestly, why is everyone so against me visiting Camp Crystal Lake? I already promised you guys that I would spend time with each and every one of you, so what on earth is the problem? What's the problem? Oh, how cute. Did you really think that I would actually honor my agreement with the others, princess? Freddy psychotically purred, growing more and more unstable by the minute. Here we go. Okay then. Tell me, what are you whining about this time? You dryly quizzed, rolling your eyes while his grasp on you tightened. Though, after a couple of seconds, he creepily chuckled, caressing the left side of your face with his finger knives before running them obsessively through your hair. What am I whining about this time? He hummed seductively, pushing his lips against your own whilst your heart skipped a beat. I'm whining about the fact that you're spending more time with the others than with me. And I guess that's a fantastic thing. Because I don't think you deserve it, bro. No, I don't think. I know. I know you don't deserve it. Chapter 43. Breaking Down. Are you serious? You asked with a disbelieving laugh, shaking your head as sarcasm trickled through your tone. That's what you're complaining about? Because I spent a little more time with Jason and ate dinner with the others instead of you? Complaining? You think I'm complaining? Freddy slowly sneered, his unstable voice and creepy chuckle causing you to feel slightly uneasy. What a sweet but stupid thing to say. Well, what else would you call it? You fired back fiercely, flashing him a festy glare before pulling away from his grasp. You're acting like a child all of a sudden. Just because I visited Crystal Lake after my uni class. I'd call it being a bitch, to be honest. The Dream Demon snapped maliciously, snatching up your wrist with his left hand a second time and losing his mischievous attitude. After all, you said that you would just go and visit Voorhees whenever you feel like it? I did, you sternly declared, staring down at him with a stubborn train of thought. So why don't you just back off, Kruger? Oh, you did? Did you? The sadistic slasher hummed wickedly, his evil emerald eyes practically glowing with dark amusement whilst he dipped into his obsessive frame of mind once more. Did you even realize the amount of danger you're in, sweet cheeks? Or are you acting reckless and irresponsible on purpose? Excuse me? You sharply questioned, shooting him an icy glare as your hurt feelings increased. How am I being reckless and irresponsible? Jason would never hurt me. And that thing with Michael? That only happened on a whim. I'm just what? Go on, princess. Say it. Say it. What am I? Jealous? Oh, please, give me a fucking break. Freddy hissed viciously, his hostile tone throwing you off and making your eyes widen. I just don't understand where this is all stemming from, you retorted defensively. I mean, if this is all because I spent time with Jason this morning, then this isn't just about Voorhees, the demonic male shouted in frustration, losing his deranged temper and self-control. Are you really that naive? Are you really that blind? Because at the moment, I couldn't give a less of a fuck about that childish motherfucker. Then tell me, what the fuck is your problem? You coldly yelled, continuing to glare at Freddy while struggling to escape his iron-like grip. Heck, he can probably protect me better than you can. Is that so? Smirking slyly, the unhinged killer carefully caressed the side of her face, his razor-sharp fingernails cradling your cheek as he seductively stroked your skin. Better watch what you say to me, baby girl. Because right now, you're not putting me in a very good mood. I couldn't care less about your current mood, you unkindly replied, behaving unusually rude whilst you gritted your teeth and ignored the sudden shade of scarlet that spread across your face. Actually, all I care about now is getting some sleep and figuring out who my unwanted admirer is. And I can help you with that, he smoothly spoke, his erratic change of emotion causing you to frown as you watched him pause for a minute. In fact, I already know who the two of them are. Huh? Stammering slightly, surprise sparkled across your gaze like shocked stars, not expecting his response to be so unnerving. Two of them? You mean my wanted admirer is actually unwanted admirers? Mm-hmm. Freddy informed you mischievously, amused by how startling his remark seemed to be. And you want to know the funniest part about all this, Dollface? Is that Myers knew from the get-go. He knew straight from the start whoever they were. There was more than one. He never told you. Well, yeah, he probably just didn't want me to worry. I don't even care. You mumbled underneath your breath miserably, trying to remain strong while you shoved Freddy away. And how do I even know that you're telling me the truth, huh? His bad boy grin returning, Freddy whipped out a crumpled note from his pocket and held it in between his fingers, indicating for you to take it as he leaned back against your bedroom door frame once again and crossed his arms. Suspiciously, you cautiously took the note and unfolded said piece of paper, feeling anxious when you noticed it was another message for Mikael. But if that was really the case, then why hadn't he shared it with you? The silent male didn't even like Freddy, yet alone tolerate him, so why tell the others, but not you? What could be so worrying about your current situation? Holding the note with both hands, you stared down and started to read, growing absolutely horrified by what was written down. This is a long-ass fucking note. Whoever they aren't just one. They're taking shifts. They're moving around, taking note of her location almost 24/7. They know about us. They know she lives with us. They're trying to learn almost everything about her. But as soon as I spot them, they switch hiding places. It's infuriating. They're using the same mask and outfits as each other too, so I can't tell which one is which at any specific time. We have to take precaution. They're messing with my strengths and toying with my weaknesses, because they stalk too. They have the same skills that I do. They're more dangerous than we thought, but don't tell her. Oh shit. I don't understand, you whispered in a tearful tone, shaking from shock as you finished reading Mikhail's private warning. Why wouldn't he tell me? He probably thought you couldn't handle it, Freddy carelessly answered, shrugging whilst he threw the other stalker under the bus. Well, that, and he didn't like how much he was being shown up. Angry, hurt tears swirled around the edges of your eyes. The creased the piece of paper falling to the floor while you became progressively more upset. Mikhail tried to keep this from you? Did he really believe that you were that weak? Did the others believe that too? You were nothing but a pastime after all? Nothing but a plaything? A joke? A laugh? Hiding your face in your hands, you didn't say a single word, beginning to break down as strands of hair swiftly flew from your shoulders and covered your fingers. Couldn't you be trusted? Did your partners really think that you were reckless and irresponsible? Duh, beautiful. There's no need to cry. It's not your fault the others aren't telling you the truth. The dreaming demon cooed deceitfully, wrapping his left arm around your waist and tugging you closer to him. The way they treating you. They're treating you like trash. Only telling you things when necessary. Only telling you things when it's relevant to their side of the story. Like you're nothing but a plaything. Nothing but a joke. Nothing but a laugh. Just damn. Can't believe you threw them under a bus like that. When he knows his damn perfect record. He ain't had no damn perfect record. Oh my goodness. He's a fucking asshole. But I would like to mention throughout this story, you will see him kind of like saying things for a reason. Alright, the good thing about Freddy is that he will tell you the truth most of the time. And most of the time he will have proof of it. That he will tell you the truth at some points. He will try and like and pull you, try and kind of like manipulate you. But at the same time, he's showing you the truth. You know what I'm saying? And it's proven like the more you read it. So I guess that's a good thing about like Freddy, that he at least tells you what's going on. But at the same time, you know, you could tell earlier in the chapters, like he was like during the chapter that he was worried, and it wasn't just because of Jason. It was because of what Mikhail wrote in the note, because they're watching her 24/7. They want to know everything about her, and they're getting past Mikhail to a very creepy degree, where it is concerning to Mikhail, and he's concerned that that they're like toying with him a lot, to the point where he can't catch them. You know, so I guess I can understand why Freddy's like, you know, kind of pissed at her for being irresponsible, but at the same time, she didn't know that. So again, I can give him that fucking middle finger and he can kiss my booty cheeks, but at the same time, he does make a point. So I like to keep y'all, like, even if he's trying to manipulate us, he does have a valid point. But then this is like mostly then he's trying to manipulate us to being closer to him and exiting the others out. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, chapter 44, Calming Confession. Losing it completely, you gripped his stripped sweater and hid your face in his chest altogether, unable to hold back the stressed out sobs that were uncontrollably slipping past through your lips. No. There was no way. No way. Sharing things with each other that you needed to know. Hell, for all you knew, these unwanted admirers could have already attacked your mother, hurt your friends. What were they thinking? So once you regained your composure, you took several breaths and decided to calm down, your courage and determination returning to you 5 minutes later. Sorry, I don't know what got into... Ryan, were you crying? Norman's questioned with stunned eyes, standing in the hallway as he noticed how you'd previously been feeling. Yeah, so what if I was? You lashed out coldly, pulling her away from Freddy and clenching your fist in an angry attitude. Why should I tell you, huh? It's not like you and the others tell me anything in return anyway. Wait, what? Shocked, Norman stared at you in complete and utter surprise, not understanding where your bitterness was bubbling from, while hurt clouded his gaze. What are you talking about? Don't even start with that. You sharply snapped, losing your temper, whilst you snatched a piece of paper from the ground and shoved it into the timid slasher's direction. How did I get what? This piece of paper? Realize that you guys have been lying to me? Finding out that I've got more than one unwanted admirer on my ass? You interrupted furiously, not feeling any remorse whatsoever when Norman's eyes filled with guilty tears. I'd like to point out that I didn't lie to you, darling. Freddy flirtatiously purred. Fucking asshole. Enjoying how worked up you seemed to be and enjoying how annoyed you were with Norman. Now is not the time. Now shut up. You warned the dream demon with a dark tone, your mental state reaching its limit as you yanked Mika's message and pushed past Norman. That's not what we were trying to do, Norman, the dark-haired male, cried out devastatingly, clutching his chest with both hands while he watched you leave your room instead of staying inside. You have to believe us. Please believe us. Why should I? Twirling around, you faced Norman at the top of the stairs, feeling tremendously pissed off by this point. Why should I believe you now? Give me one good reason. One. Well, because Norman's tone trailed off tearfully, not knowing how to respond as he tried his best to come up with some sort of excuse or explanation. Because I love you, Wyan. Really, I do. It just... Please don't. Don't what? Deal with my own problems? Keep being treated like a child? Half laughing in disbelief, you shook your head at Norman's pleading and decided to face the facts. Freddy was right. You guys are really treating me like a joke. I would never treat you like a joke. Norman stressfully sobbed, reaching about to seize your shoulder before you turned back around. Unfortunately, he just wasn't fast enough, the palm of his hand missing. Why, and this is a surprise. I certainly didn't expect you to see you back down here. Whatever's the matter, dearest? Uh-oh. Sounding slightly curious, Hannibal's concerned voice caused you to pause for a moment, your frustration fading whilst you watch him place the book he was currently holding down on the living room table before standing up. Did Kruger say something to set you off by any chance? Not intentionally. Hannibal, stop her! Norman suddenly shrieked, appearing at the top of the stairs and acting scarily unstable. Don't let her leave. She knows. Hey, I deserve to know, you shouted at him in retaliation. Norman's frantic cries forcing you to glare back at him and feel progressively more offended. You don't understand, Wyan. Norman wept worryingly, losing his mind as he clutched either side of his head and continued to cry. It's not safe for you, you know, after all, we still hadn't caught them yet. Oh, and why isn't it safe for me to know? You fought back fiercely, still disliking Norman's constant cajoling. Do you really think that I can't handle the truth? Do you really think that I'm that irresponsible? That I'm reckless? Do you think I'm nothing more than a plaything? No, that's not what I meant. Norman panicked as he bounced down the stairs, flinging his arms around your shoulders before giving you time to talk. You've never ever been a plaything to me. A plaything? Hannibal carefully repeated, picking up on your words and flashing you a confused expression. What on earth would make you jump to such a cold-hearted conclusion? That we degrade you with such derogatory words. Oh, I don't know. Maybe because you've been keeping all this important information from me, you explained angrily, holding the scrap of paper up and unraveling without any restraint. You're not being fair. And would you mind explaining why you'd feel that way? After all, I would never dare to offend you so maliciously. The psychiatrist calmly commented, thinking back to Norman's previous wails while he took Mika's warning out of your hand. Then he skimmed over the said message, reading the stalker's scrawls much faster than you had and realizing that Freddy must have been the one to give you the note and therefore shattered the secret. So, this is what Norman meant. Hannibal murmured intently, releasing a sigh of disapproval as he gave a soft shake of the head and tucked the piece of paper into his pocket. This is what Norman meant when he said that you knew. So, this is a huge deal. And like I said earlier, I deserve to know this sort of thing. You declared defiantly, breaking away from Norman as before you folded your arms. Unless you also take me for some kind of joke. We don't... Oh, my sweet, sweet YN. Hannibal soothingly spoke, stepping closer to you so he could cradle the right side of your face with his left hand. I would never be able to think of you as a joke. And Mikhail's warning, well, it isn't as threatening as it sounds, I give you my word. But it was written down... Well, Mikhail wrote down isn't wrong, it's true. There are more than one. Whoever they are, they know where you live. They took note of your location almost all the time. They're more difficult to catch than we thought. He told you truthfully, his thumb brushing over your cheek as he tenderly stroked your skin. But then why didn't you tell me? You asked in a hurt tone of voice, your anger twisting into troubled shame instead. Is it true? Do you guys honestly not trust me? At all? Before Hannibal could answer you, a tight arm curled around your waist and yanked you to the side, forcing your entire body to fall into a familiar person's chest. Mikhail, why did you do that? After hearing how upset you were, Mikhail released his hold on you, pulling out his notepad from his boiler suit's pocket and deciding to engage in conversation. Time ticking by as he finally responded with sincerity. I am skipping all of that. I wasn't trying to upset you. Please believe me when I say that it wasn't because I didn't think you could handle it. Either. I trust you with anything. With my life, you are my everything. I love you. I was trying to protect you, to keep you safe. I was worried that you'd become scared, that you'd stress out, that you'd panic, but I acted stupidly. I wasn't thinking, because I stressed you out anyway. I'm sorry, but please don't leave. I can't protect you properly outside. It's not a good idea. At least you were sincere, my guy. At least you were sincere. Also, randomly, I'm drinking a piña colada. Oh my goodness, I'm saying this in English. A piña colada that my mom made me. It was freaking delicious. It's the bomb, bro. It's the bomb. Anyways, Chapter 45. Finally, some free time. Mikhail's got a point, YN. Hannibal gently agreed, taking both of your hands into his and giving them a soft squeeze in return. Heading outside at this hour doesn't exactly seem like a reasonable thing to do. Even if you do have other things planned, you could always complete them after class tomorrow, don't you think? Be as it may, I still do not enjoy being treated like a child. You muttered underneath your breath moodily, disliking how easy it was for your heartbeat to quicken. You guys aren't playing fair. This was critical information, still you hid it from me. So in the end, I personally think that I'm allowed to head out despite what hour. But why? Norman whispered tearfully, still crying while he stared at you with heartache. Why would you want to leave? Wouldn't you prefer to stay here? To stay safe with us? With me? That's not exactly what I meant. You groaned in frustration, glaring at the ground and wondering how the hell you were going to get out of this over-the-top pandering. After all, Mikhail was hovering by your side like an overprotective puppy, Hannibal was charmingly holding your hands, and Norman, well, let's just say he was acting like one of those typical boy Lolita types. Oh, give me a break. A devilish voice drawled out from the top of the stairs, the owner of said tone gazing at you with all but an evil glint in his eyes, and a smug smirk spread across his face. Why would she even want to? I mean, after all what you bastards did to her, I'd say she can go wherever the fuck she wants. Got that, sissy boy? Freddy, I told you upstairs, and I'm telling you now, this is not the time for your childish commentary, so just shut up and leave me alone. You coldly reminded the dream demon, pulling your hands away from Hannibal's and running one through your hair with immense irritation. Aw, how sweet. You think telling me to leave you alone will actually make me leave you alone? The sadistic slasher cooed in a sweetly sweet fashion, disappearing and reappearing right directly in front of your face as he whispered something else to you. Well, you're wrong. No, I just thought it would buy me some free time. You sarcastically retaliated, releasing a sigh of annoyance before twirling to the side and grasping the front door's handle. Not to mention having one less person to deal with. Ryan, why would you even say such a thing? Norman wept dramatically, hiding his face in his hands and trembling from hurt. Do you really hate us that much? No. You comforted the shaken up male swiftly, not wanting him to have an outburst while you opened the door. That's not what I meant. I don't really hate you guys. I'm just hanging out for a bit, alright? You are? Wiping his eyes, Norman glanced up at you with shock, his stammering increasing due to your sudden plans. But I thought we were... Believe it or not, I don't always have to spend time with you guys. I was promised my freedom when I first moved in here, remember? You required sternly, facing the slashers once more after you'd finally made up your mind. And this is just a big background about, like, freedom, like, to freedom, you know what I'm saying? This is just so stupid, Norman furiously screamed, glaring at the ground with an enraged expression as he clenched his fist and losing what little composure he had left. Norman? I mean, why? Why? He yelled at you crazily, his unstable twitching and strange mood swing throwing you off completely. All we want to do is to protect you. I know that, you sharply retorted, feeling half embarrassed and half awkward. And I'm grateful, but at least let me have some time alone. I mean, geez, it's not even that late, so just leave me. Before you could finish your sentence, Mikhail joined in, the stalker holding you by your wrist and pinning you possessively against the wall. And although the pale-faced male didn't say anything or voice his opinion, his feelings were clear. No. Hey, Mikhail, you protested nervously, your heartbeat increasing due to how Mikhail had just acted. What are you doing? Leave YN alone, Norman snapped at the silent slasher hatefully, bringing out his pocket knife and gripping it tightly. This is absolutely nothing to do with you. In fact, this is all your fault to begin with. Mikhail merely tilted his head to the side and stared the opposite color down, his behavior radiating with adoration, while he lovingly rested his head atop of yours. Again, his mute message towards Norman's previous order was the same as the one he secretly gave you. No. Come on, you two, just stop it, you complained anxiously, not enjoying the twisted tension that was building up with every passing minute. Norman, Mikhail, I think that's enough, Hannibal calmly interjected, steering Norman back a bit before placing a hand on Mikhail's shoulder. You're making YN feel uncomfortable, and I, for one, don't think that's a very good idea. He started it, Norman blamed immediately, his childish attitude making Mikhail grow somewhat agitated. If he could actually do his job, then we wouldn't even be in this mess. Oh my, this is certainly very dramatic, Freddy commented in a dark amusement, kneeling against the other side of the hallway and watching you with his usual wicked gaze. You guys are acting like you've been written in some poorly written fanfic. Touché. This is your fault too, Kruger, Norman tearfully shouted, trying to swipe his pocket knife at the dream demon first instead of the stalker. What made you think that giving YN that stupid note was going to help in any sort of way? I wasn't trying to help, bitch. And Freddy spoke smoothly, flashing an ignorant smile at Norman before shrugging and avoiding his attack without any effort whatsoever. I was bored. And besides, I thought she deserved to know, with what you dicks always hiding things from her. Mikhail? You called his name quietly, causing the stalker to slowly shift his attention back towards you. Let go of me. He shook his head. I was promised my freedom. You stubbornly brought up, holding back a groan when he shook his head a second time. And anyway, it's not necessarily nighttime. It's sunset-ish. He shook his head yet again. Listen, bitch, let go of her. Things will get ugly. Freddy sided with you darkly, eyeing Mikhail with the utmost of hate as he threatened him via his blood-stained finger knives. You understand, asshole? The silent male just glanced at Freddy unfeelingly, showing no emotion or care about what the other killer wanted at all. Fucking hell. and people wonder why is it that I don't play nice. Rolling his eyes, the demonic male lunged at Mikael and flung the two of them straight through the open door, giving you the opportunity to leave due to the shoving the stalker away from you. Oh, Ryan, please, don't. I'm begging you. Norman sobbed desperately, hugging your waist as he attempted to stop you from leaving once again. But his clinging mannerisms only confirmed why you wanted to go in the first place. Well, Ryan? Hannibal's soothing voice snapped you out of your exasperated thoughts, making your head swivel in his direction while your stress levels rose higher. What do you wish to do? The ball is in your court, as the saying goes. His question made you hesitate for a split second, but you shook your head and cleared your head, making up your mind as you threw the psychiatrist and the crying male both a regretful smile. It wasn't my intent to cause a conflict between you guys, but at the same time, it's my decision when and where I wish to go. So if you excuse me, I think I want to head out for a bit and get some fresh air. And with that, you walked out of the front door and brushed past the two fighting slashers, Freddy dragging Mikael back down whilst he gave you time to escape the violent events happening behind you. But still, even after you'd left, Mikael, I want you to follow her. This area is far too dangerous for someone as delicate as her to be wandering around. This is essential. Like, okay then. Okay. That's looking a bit like Hannibal. Or everyone. So who knows? They're like, even if I'm fighting you right now, you need to go after her. Okay. Chapter 46. Calling Cadence, excuse me. Finally, you sighed to yourself tiredly, feeling emotionally and physically exhausted by this point. If it wasn't for Freddy, they would have never let me leave. After that, you laughed lightly, surprised by how you were thinking Freddy out of all people. But while you were walking through the woods, you wondered what to do or where to go, worry watching throughout your body as you mulled over your options. You could go visit your friends, but they were probably busy with other things, considering you hadn't exactly planned your sudden stroll outside. Then again, you didn't really feel like heading back so soon after you just left. So, who would you be willing to spend time with so suddenly? Who would? Cadence. After you took in a deep breath, you dialed her number and called her, holding your phone up to your ear and praying that she'd answer. Thankfully. Hey, Ryan, it's been a while since you've called me like this. Cadence gently greeted, her voice flowing with curiosity once she'd answered your call. Is something wrong? Everything's okay, isn't it? Well, I sort of had an argument with my roommates about me heading out alone. You explained in a tiny voice, trying to blur out the truth and sound as vague as possible. They didn't exactly like that I wanted to leave the house without anyone accompanying me. I guess it's because they or the authorities still haven't catched the unwanted admirer yet, right? Catching on quickly, Cadence reply made you breathe a sigh of relief, grateful that you didn't have to spill anything out about said truth. In a sense, I mean, they kind of freaked me out, and now I'm stranded in the forest. I haven't got a clue what to do or where to go. All I really wanted was some me time, away from my overprotected roommates. But in that case, why don't you hang out with me for a little while? You remember where I live, don't you? In the third apartment by the university. Of course, you can always say no and all. But if you got nowhere to stay, having a sleepover could be fun. Cadence suggested sweetly, her warm offer and kind-hearted behavior making you feel even more appreciative. Are you sure? I don't want to be a bother or any sort of burden, you worried in a troubled tone, biting your lip while you became stressed out and nervous. We're friends, and as the saying goes, one is lonely and two is company. Therefore, it'll be fine. Your blonde friend soothed your concerns softly, trying to calm you down and make you feel better. And don't worry, Amber and Laurie won't show. They're at a rave. At a rave? How come you didn't go? You wondered with a puzzled frown, deciding to make your way towards the student apartments and away from where you lived for now. Did they not invite you? Raves are not really my thing, remember? Cadence dryly responded, her slight comment causing you to feel little guilty. Oh yeah. You're more of an introvert and enjoy hanging out with close friends instead of rowdy crowds, aren't you? You mentioned sheepishly, praying that you were right and not wrong. After all, you hadn't exactly spent time with her and Amber and Laura recently. I guess you could say that. I mean, I don't mind when Amber and Laura drag me off to wild parties, but if I had to class myself into one category, I'd specifically be an introvert and just prefer to spend time with people I care about, you know. Cadence summed up compassionately, her friendly mindset shining through whilst an affectionate smile slid across your face. That's a really good mentality to have, you agreed happily, respecting her empathetic ways of thinking and how it made her different from Amber and Laura in general. I guess I'll see you in a bit, then, if that's alright with you. Of course it is. See you soon, YN. She pleasantly spoke, you also saying goodbye before ending the call. Thank goodness you had a friend like Cadence. But a few seconds later, your peace and quiet was suddenly interrupted. Boo! A mischievous voice scared you from behind, two hands gripping your shoulders as said person made you jump and gasp without any warning. Jesus Christ, Penny! You anxiously snapped, twirling around and facing the clown with faint annoyance. Why would you do that? And why are you in the woods out of all places? I could ask you the very same thing. Pennywise shot back sharply, his expression switching from amusement to a stern one in less than a second. What are you talking about? Flicking your head side to side, you ignored his unexpected annoyance and folded your arms instead. I'm allowed to spend time by myself, you know. I don't always have to go back and forth between the university, Camp Crystal Lake, and the house that I share with the others. Are you serious? He laughed dubiously, his golden eyes glaring at you as he shifted over to the darker version of himself. If y'all hear me at a distance, sorry, y'all. This is like my phone's about to die. Oh my gosh, but I got this. I can read this. His golden eyes glaring at you as he shifted over to the darker version of himself. There's a difference between spending time by yourself and stupidly letting your guard down, especially when there's multiple psychos after you. It's like you're asking to be caught, silly girl. What do I do in my spare time has absolutely nothing to do with you. He fiercely retaliated, returning his serious stare and not understanding his worry. So why don't you just go back wherever you were doing earlier and leave me be? Leave you be. The killer clown repeated slowly, his voice dangerously low. Creepy grin and insane glint in his eye made you feel weirdly on edge. And why exactly would I do that? You're getting more and more difficult to read. You seem to be extremely good at ending up in bad situations, and so what? I promised I'd spend time with you, and I have been, so what's the problem? I wouldn't have taken you for the overprotective type, you firmly pointed out, narrowing your eyes and growing somewhat curious. Why was he so worried? What could possibly cause Pennywise to become so worked up? And then this is their agreement. Your question made it stiffen up, bewilderment flashing across his facial features while he pondered over the words that you just said to him. Him having a problem? Him being overprotective? What a foolish thing to say. He couldn't care less. All he cared about was wanting to find out why he was so captivated by you. Why was he so infatuated? After all, he couldn't send you insane, and he couldn't take your soul. And now that he thought about it, he didn't feel like feeding off your fear anymore either. But why? Why was that? Growing agitated, his irritation increased. The psychopathic clown not being able to come to any sort of conclusion. Still. And then this is the background of them talking. And basically mentioning that he agreed with me. Just basically think about like the recap I did. But anyways. So why? Why was he feeling like this over a mere human girl? Why did he care so much? He didn't know. Well, the more you know, the less you want to know. You know? Anyways. Let me know what you guys think is going to happen in the next chapter down below. Because for me, it's gonna get somewhere. It's gonna get somewhere. It's either gonna be him leaving us actually the hell alone, or he's just gonna pretend to leave us alone or he's gonna follow us to our friend's house and change into an object and something like that. Weirdly specific, but you know, I wouldn't be surprised if he did do that. I wouldn't be surprised. Anyways, I'm surprised I didn't say like, anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this. What did you? Yeah, I'm surprised. I know, me too, y'all. I know, me too, honey, me too. Also, for some announcements I'd like to make to you guys. I got a new pet. His name is Obi-Wan Kenobi Izquierdo Hernandez. Very long, but basically Obi is his first name, Wan Kenobi is his middle name, Izquierdo is his last name, and Hernandez is his second last name. He is a platinum male. This is what he looks like. He looks absolutely gorgeous in the tank. Honestly, he looks fucking perfect, honestly. Anyways, I gotta cut this short. I'm so sorry, y'all. I do hope you guys did enjoy this, though. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more amazing videos, guys. I'm pretty sure one or a couple stories will be ending soon, so if you guys have any, like, suggestions or anything like that, I would appreciate hearing about them in the comments down below, or in any of my social medias that are also in the description down below. Anyways, sadly, your girl's gotta go. Bye and peace.